Hi everybody, this is Brenda. I want to try and do a little short video to show you all some of the characteristics of the Inktense pencils. First of all, let me show you what happens when we use water. If we take the pencil and apply it to just to right on the fabric, and then we take and add water, you go over the pencil, you can see how the pigment bleeds. Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. It almost creates a shadow effect all in one stroke. So it's not as if this is the wrong thing. If this is the desired effect, that's how you achieve it. Now let's show you what happens when we use gel. Let me move the camera back a little bit. Now this is the gel. It's just 100% gel, and you'll see it says no color added. So that's what we're after. We don't want to add any color from the gel, just what pigment we're adding. So if you take and write on the fabric with your Inktense, let me move this back, so pencil, and then apply the gel, you don't get as much bleeding. The pigment kind of behaves itself and stays pretty much where you put it. The gel gives you better control of where the colors go. Now there's been a little confusion. I don't think I've been able to explain to you when I'm talking about adding color from a puddle. So here's what I want to show you. Okay, here's a little bit of gel. Okay, and I want to build a light color. So what I do is I start just grabbing some pigment, okay, and we're going to work it into this gel and make a very light puddle of color. Okay, now of course the more you mix the gel into this, the thinner the pigment becomes and the thinner coat you're going to get. So if you want to start out with a thin color, okay, this is what I do. Now also I'm going to show you, this is how the pigment looks on dry fabric. Okay, it dries pretty quick and you can get the dry brush strokes. Okay, now let's see if I can get this clearer. Hold on. It's not going to focus. Alright, let's see. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is if you wet the fabric first. So I'm going to take just some clear gel and I'm going to wet the fabric first in an area that I want to apply color. CW, I know you were asking me exactly what I meant about moving the pigment out. As long as it's on a wet area, you can move the color until it dries. So what I do is just scrub in some gel. Okay, now if you take your pencil and you touch it, let's say to the inside of the flower petal, you go in here, it's very intense. See how dark that is? Now, as long as this is wet, you can add gel and you can start pulling that color out. So what you're basically doing is diluting the amount of pigment. And so here you're fading from dark to light. But you can't do this on dry fabric. The pigments go on, the fabric soaks it up, and it's dry, and it is where it is. You can't move it. But see that? If you wanted to add a little more gel, you may be able to move it further. Blend it. So you want to be careful when you put that first initial dot down here in the corner so that you can move it out. Now this is what happens when you draw on the wet fabric. It's thick. I mean, it is thick. That ink releases instantly. Okay. Now we talked about building up layers to get darker. Here's the first area we put that clear gel. I mean, the gel that we had colored from the puddle. Now if I go back and add a second layer, it will gradually get darker. So you can see the difference from there to there. And if you let this dry just a minute or two and kind of set up, because if you just keep trying to add color, all you're doing is moving the wet pigment out of the area. But this will give you some idea as to what to expect from the pencils. I guess like anything, it just takes a little practice. You don't have to be an artist to do this. You definitely don't need really a painting background. It's more or less coloring inside of the lines. If you, let's say you wanted to highlight that with some yellow, I just brushed that on so the gel's kind of wet. You go in there and add some yellow to highlight, and then you can pull that color back into that area, and it just kind of blends it. So I hope this helped. Looks like I'm going to have to learn how to do videos a little bit better. It's blurry. I don't have the right camera equipment, but we'll see how it goes. We'll give it a shot and see if this helps. Give me some feedback, and we'll see what we can do.